Welcome to the Loyalty Program Builders podcast, where together with the top industry experts, we discuss business and technical challenges of implementing and running loyalty programs. Loyalty programs are complex. That's why together with our guests, we make difficult processes easy to understand and provide actionable steps to reach your loyalty program goals. Subscribe to our newsletter and become a part of a community dedicated to loyalty program excellence. Hey everyone, this is another special episode where we're discussing a book on loyalty that I highly recommend reading. This time, we're discussing the second edition of Loyalty Programs, The Complete Guide, with the author, Philip Shelper, who happens to be the very first guest of our podcast. The first episode, How to Prepare a Good Loyalty Program Strategy, has been the most popular episode this year. Philip is the CEO and founder of Loyalty and Reward Co. He has extensive experience within the loyalty industry as a designer, speaker, educator, and researcher. In addition to designing loyalty programs for over 100 brands globally, he previously held loyalty roles at Qantas Frequent Flyer and Vodafone. Loyalty Programs: The Complete Guide is the most comprehensive book on loyalty programs on the planet. It combines a wide range of academic research, loyalty psychology, and industry expertise to deliver a truly global view of all aspects of loyalty programs. What's new in the second edition? For example, Loyalty and Reward Co.'s Essential 8, a set of principles for loyalty program design and optimization, published for the first time beyond clients of Loyalty and Reward Co. An expanded library of over 170 updated and new case studies that breathe life into the foundational theories of the book. But it's so much better to ask the author about the details. So without further ado, here's Philip. Hello, Philip. Great to have you on the podcast.
Hi, Rick. It's great to be back.
Brilliant. So this is a wonderful opportunity to discuss the second edition of your book. I have to say that Loyalty Programs: The Complete Guide has been, my first book on loyalty that I've ever read. And it's a bit personal, but it's the kind of book that actually convinced me that the team at Open Loyalty, they are serious about everything they're doing. So, thank you so much for writing the book. And also, I'm really curious about the second edition. So it's great to have you here. And I'm really excited about discussing everything, related to the book.
Amazing. Let's get into it.
Cool. So if you could just do a short recap. Who is it for? What is the idea behind the book? And, what was your inspiration to write it?
Sure. So I started my career in loyalty over 15 years ago and was instantly addicted to it. But what I realized is that there wasn't any book available that I could buy to teach me everything I needed to know about loyalty programs, which was always a mystery to me because it's a major marketing discipline. It's a multi-billion dollar industry. It permeates every aspect of every industry around the world. So why had no one written a book that told people everything they need to know about loyalty programs? So I always planned on being the person that would write that book, but struggled to find the time. But then in March 2020, when the whole world went into lockdown for COVID-19, the world stopped. I said to my team, right, here's that chance we've been waiting for to write that book. And we got stuck into it and completed the advanced draft of the first edition in about 4 months. We had a lot of material that we pulled together and wrote some additional chapters and we got it out later that year. But there was still a lot of stuff that we didn't include in it. And as soon as we'd published it, we realized that there was a lot more that we wanted to say. And so we collected all the different additional content that we wanted and started writing the second edition at the beginning this year. We're intending to only make some small changes to it because we're very busy and we thought, let's just get the second edition out. But we went to town. We increased the amount of pages by 25%. We refreshed all the case studies and added another 20. So there's now 170 case studies. We added 2 additional chapters and rewrote another 2. So it's way more comprehensive than the first edition.
Okay, incredible. Because I found the first edition really like a comprehensive guide and a reference book. Because what I really love about the loyalty programs, the complete guide, is the structure. That, everything is so well laid out, and you can basically read the chapter, just put it in practice, wait a bit, have some thoughts on that, and then go back. So this is incredible. But 25% of the new stuff, this is huge. And also, it's interesting that people who write great books, very often, they need this sort of a hardship and traumatic experience almost, to just decide, okay, let's go with it. We've been always thinking about that, and now it's the chance.
Yeah, exactly right. It's interesting, isn't it? Because without the pandemic, the book probably still would not have been written, and I'd still be dreaming about the day I'd get a chance to sit down and do it. So there you go.
Okay, so this is a kind of I wanted to focus on the chapters that are especially important for me, but obviously, I would recommend everyone just buying the book and going through that, because it's filled with massive amount of valuable information. But one of the chapters that was really important for me at first was loyalty psychology. So I wanted to ask you, how has this, chapter evolved? Have you seen any changes? Is there any change to loyalty psychology in the modern programs?
Yeah, interestingly, not really. So if we think about the history of loyalty programs, they date back to, as far as we've been able to ascertain, back to the 1850s, where a soap merchant, B.T. Babbitt, in New York City, introduced the first program where he would invite people to collect the logos on bars of soap and send them in, and he'd send back a coloured print or a lithograph for them to stick up in their home. But all the way back then, even that whole idea of providing someone with a currency that they could collect and accumulate and then exchange for a reward, that the basic psychology of loyalty programs was right there and then. Then more recently, the introduction of status tiers and recognition of a higher form builds out on a lot of additional psychology, like Tajfel's social identity theory. You've got stamp card introduction. We've got a stamp card that dates all the way back to the 1890s, and incorporating the endowed progress effect and the gold gradient effect. So all of this stuff was actually incorporated into loyalty programs a long, long time ago. Whether the designers of those programs understood the psychology that they were implementing into the program design, probably not, but certainly researchers in the 1900s uncovered these psychological phenomena and gave them a name. And now we can be a lot more exacting when we're designing loyalty programs in terms of the psychology that we're embedding into the program and what we expect that it's going to do. So I'm glad to hear it, because it's definitely my favorite chapter as well.
Sure. Cool. That's interesting that actually, time changes. Definitely, I represent the technology, the loyalty tech, and here the changes are so rapid, but the psychology basically stays more or less the same throughout the decades, and so that's interesting. But when it comes to technology, have you seen, do you cover any changes regarding AI or data analytics? How about technology?
Yeah, so technology, a very different story. The rapid evolution and innovation of loyalty technology is just amazing to behold. We've seen some really great innovation even over the past 12 months. AI has been around within loyalty programs for quite some time, but it's generally been something that's only been available to the really big coalition programs because it's quite expensive technology and requires a lot of data. Now with companies like OpenAI using ChatGPT, the opportunity exists for smaller companies and loyalty platform providers providing SaaS and cloud-based solutions to be able to tap into that and incorporate that within their platform. So we're definitely seeing a lot of experimentation with that, as well as niche solutions, which is really exciting. The main thing that we're seing is marketing automation using AI, segmentation automation, which is really good. So really good utilization of test and learn. So companies that are able to run thousands of test and learn scenarios where previously a company might only be able to do 8 to 10 in the same period. Chatbots are really interesting. That's going to be something that will expand quite a lot over the years. So some great AI stuff. And then also payments, the convergence of payments and loyalty. There's some really, really fascinating technology that is coming to the market at the moment that enables companies to make it very, very easy and seamless for customers to engage with loyalty programs just using a credit card or a debit card and not having to do much else. And then the other big innovation that we've always been excited about since we first got involved with it back in 2017 was blockchain and Web3. And I know OpenAI, I know Open Loyalty is doing some really great stuff in that space as well. It's got a long way to run. Everyone was crazy on NFTs for the last couple of years, but it's all pretty quiet at the moment. But we know a lot of companies that are investing heavily in this, and a resurgence will happen late 2004 into 2025. So I think people shouldn't take their eye off the ball with that one.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. And one of the things that, we have been covering here at Open Loyalty is the build versus buy dilemma when it comes to technology. So, some companies decide to build technology in-house. Some companies decide to buy it, complete solution. But I wanted to ask you about loyalty engines. So, like the kind of technology that you could use to pick certain loyalty mechanics or gamification mechanics and just use it in your business to drive customer loyalty. So, what would you say about the use of loyalty engines? Is it something that you have covered in the book, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's right. So from my perspective, build versus buy is a non-issue now. It was definitely something that companies needed to consider a decade ago. But I think the quality of the platform technology that is available these days is phenomenal. It's very, very cost effective. It's highly flexible and scalable, and comes with so much deep functionality included in it that I think any company that is seriously considering building their own loyalty capability is quite deluded, to be honest with you. So every customer that we work with, we definitely recommend to buy because it just makes so much sense that the evolution of the tech has come so far that really is the main option these days. That's for sure. In addition to that, I think the user interfaces that are provided in good quality platforms like Open Loyalty make it very, very easy for a company to completely take over the platform and do their own day-to-day configuration and do quite sophisticated campaigns, API integrate into different systems, and build out really rich campaigns and loyalty programs. So it's a very easy decision, that's for sure. I think from our perspective, we're a really big fan of the composable tech movement, where companies take the very best of the platform within each particular vertical. So the very best loyalty platform, the best CDP, the best CRM, the best marketing platform, the best data analytics platform, and so on, and constructing their tech stack in that way. It's a very exciting movement. It logically makes a lot of sense, and the quality of the technology that is available these days makes it quite achievable as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. And what are the most common challenges that you've seen, when it comes to actually making sure that you have the optimal tech stack for your loyalty program?
Yeah, I think the single biggest challenge is companies who have a lot of legacy technology. They've tied themselves up in knots, and it's going to take a long time for them to unwind that in order to be able to bring in the new capabilities and technology that they need to put themselves on a pathway towards an optimal tech stack. There's a lot of companies we come across that are in that bind, and it does make it very challenging to implement a loyalty platform in those situations. There's no easy answer to that, unfortunately. They've just got to get started on the journey and do it. We're working with a really big client in New Zealand for the last 3 or 4 years. They felt that the tech stack they had was pretty good, and they asked us to do a independent IT audit of it. And we pointed out that it was in a very, very dire state and needed quite a serious overhaul. And they took our advice on board. They implemented a 5-year plan to piece by piece either update or replace the technology that they had. And 4 years down the track, their platform capability is absolutely exceptional. So it is possible. Companies just need to commit and start the journey and have really clear milestones in order to progress towards that final goal.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Definitely it takes time, but you need to do the first step. Okay. Another great thing about the book, because there are so many great things about it, but it's the kind of like a global perspective that it's about loyalty programs like worldwide. So I wanted to ask you about any interesting differences that you've noticed in loyalty strategies across different regions or cultures.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one, to be honest. I don't think that we've really seen too many cultural differences in that sense. Once again, that the basic structure of loyalty programs is there, whether it's a stamp card program, a points program, a tier program, member benefits, discounts, credits, whatever it might be. Those base elements and frameworks tend to get replicated again and again, or combinations of them. Really, most of the variations would be in the reward structure and the different types of rewards that might appeal to people based on cultural variations. Probably differences in marketing approaches as well. So some countries going really, really hard on emails is the way to go. Certainly across South America, we were quite surprised because we worked with a client based in Chile, and they said, "Oh, no one listens uses email here. It's all through WhatsApp. That's how everyone's communicating these days." So those different communications channels that are used is really interesting. But I think ultimately, once again, it's very deeply ingrained psychology that makes loyalty programs work. And I think at that base level, humans are more similar than they are different even across different cultures.
That's cool. Okay. Now, because the title of the book is very straightforward. It's about loyalty programs. But I wanted to ask you: does loyalty need to be a program? Because we're I think that quite a large segment of our audience, perhaps are people who run the business, but they haven't implemented like a separate loyalty program within it. They might be interested in implementing certain loyalty mechanics. So what would you say here? Does loyalty need to be a program?
I don't think it does need to be a program. I always tell my clients the best loyalty program is a great customer experience. And if they are delivering a subpar experience across their products, across their customer service, across their store experience, their online experience, then no matter how good the loyalty program is, it's not going to do a great deal. Part of what we do is we go through and do health check reviews of companies, which includes the end-to-end customer experience, and identify areas of deficiency that they can address as part of the overall loyalty strategy. So I think getting all of the basics right is very important. We use something called the hierarchy of delight as a model within the programs that we do, which basically says there's hygiene factors that all companies need to make sure are working really well. So the price, the service experience, the product, the accessibility, whether it's online or via a string of retail stores. You have to get all of that stuff right if you're going to be able to drive deep and long-lasting customer engagement and build loyalty. The next layer up is value. So whether that's discounts or campaigns or an actual loyalty program, providing value on the top of those hygiene factors is important. But where loyalty programs really come into their own is providing the next layer up, which is enjoyment. So providing members with a sense of enjoyment with their engagement with the brand. And then on top of that, a sense of belonging. So as humans, we have this deep-seated need to feel like we belong and belong to something meaningful. And brands, particularly popular brands, luxury brands, high-end brands, that sort of thing, have a really great opportunity to make people feel like they belong to the brand. And by doing that generates a really deep emotional engagement with the customer. But without that base level of hygiene needs, it's very hard to generate that.
Definitely, thank you. And does it apply like both to like small business and large corporations? Is it like exactly the same template, or is there like any difference here that, you know, small businesses should approach loyalty in a different way than large corporations?
Yeah, I ultimately it's a question of scale. It's actually easier for small businesses to generate loyalty amongst their customers because they can recognize them every time they come into the store. They can learn their name. They can find out what they like and tailor their experience accordingly. And so you can have that a group of core customers who you really make them feel special and welcome and wanted every time they come into the store. So with that type of thing, anything that you're doing from a loyalty program perspective is just cream on top or a cherry on top. For a big business, that's very, very difficult to achieve. You've got multiple stores, you've got constant rotation of staff, you've got probably much bigger numbers of customers going through the stores at all time. So having that level of personalization is challenging. And that's where a loyalty program can play a really critical role. If you can use the program to collect data points about that customer and understand them, you can use technology to tailor their experience online and within the store and deliver personalization and relevancy with communications, offers, and experiences. Then it provides the opportunity to deliver that small business feel good experience at mass scale.
Okay. I also wanted to ask you about like integrating loyalty program in let's say in marketing and, you know, like business. So here, because obviously like it might be a challenge. Recently, I talked about like where does loyalty program belong? So does it belong to marketing or is it like more business side? So what is your perspective on integrating a loyalty program in the company?
Yeah, so ultimately a loyalty program is a horizontal layer across the business. So all areas of the business need to own it, but also all areas of the business can benefit from it. We've got a model that we call the member engagement ecosystem, which says when you design out the right type of loyalty program based on what types of behaviors you're trying to stimulate amongst your customer base and your core objectives, that gets layered across the business. That can then be used to collect member data through gamification techniques, registration process, and other methods. You can then use that data in order to generate relevant reporting and analytics insights, which can be shared across the business. So now the entire business gets to understand their customers better, and they can use those insights to influence their strategic decision-making. So now the company is, as a whole, making better decisions about what they focus their time on and what they do and don't do. The data can then also be used to build out a lifecycle management strategy, so increasing the relevancy of the communications and offers that the member is provided and across every touch point of the business, whether it be web, email, SMS, push notifications, call center, even snail mail. And then finally, that can all be expanded into a full omni-channel personalization experience, which means that no matter what touch point the member uses to engage with the business, they're recognized, and that recognition utilizes data that enables their experience to be tailored so that they feel like they're the center of the brand's universe.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So I have just one more question, and I want to ask you for advice for entrepreneurs, so, for people who would like to incorporate loyalty programs into their business model. So, do you have any set of advice here?
Yeah, so the most important thing is getting the design right. And I think that's where people get confused about what a loyalty program is. So our definition of a loyalty program is a desirable behavior stimulation program. So if you map out the customer journey that you want to create for your customers, and then think about what is the one or two behaviors that you want your customers to exhibit at each stage of that journey, that then gives you a blueprint for designing the loyalty program. So you can then design the program to be specifically focused on stimulating those desirable behaviors and delivering to your overall core objectives. Now, the core objectives for a loyalty program are 5. Acquiring new customers, stimulating them to spend more. Now, whether that is cross-sell, upsell, increased repeat purchase behavior, spending more each time they spend. The next one is retention, keeping them coming back. The next one is advocacy, turning them into a referrer of your business to family and friends. And then the last one is data collection. So if your program is focused on those 5 areas and stimulating those desirable behaviors, you know that you're on a winner. Once you've got that all put together, then the only other thing that you really need is the right technology stack. Now, the great thing from our perspective as loyalty program designers at Loyalty and Reward Co. Is that the advancement in loyalty technology for platforms like Open Loyalty has been so extreme. We literally cannot come up with a loyalty program design that a platform like that cannot deliver to. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us, because we don't even need to worry about the technology. We can do a pure design, knowing that no matter what we come up with, the technology exists to be able to deliver to it. So that makes a big difference.
Cool. Yeah, exactly. That's the goal. Thank you. So, I think that we could wrap it up. Thank you so much for writing the book. Personally, it's like I'm really recommending it to everyone in not only in loyalty, but actually in business and marketing. I really find this book really filled with insights and actionable insights, and also the structure of the book is amazing. So thank you so much for writing it. And now if you could just let people know, what would you be? I mean, how would you recommend? Who would you recommend this book for, especially?
Yeah, so I think the target market for the book is definitely marketers. So in our opinion, loyalty programs are the single most important marketing discipline of the 21st century. Every company needs a customer database. Every customer needs good quality data points about their members, and loyalty programs are really well designed to build those out. Everyone needs to be careful how they're managing their data because of things like GDPR and privacy restrictions that are coming into place all around the world. Loyalty programs are the perfect way to manage data, permissions and all that sort of thing. Every company needs to be able to do sophisticated, hyper-personalized and relevant marketing communications. Loyalty programs are perfect for that. Every company needs to be able to segment their customers, deliver good quality analytics and reporting across the business, be able to recognize customers in different ways based on their importance to the business and what's going to be most relevant to them. Loyalty programs are great at doing all of that. So anyone who is in marketing, if you're not getting involved in studying everything that there is to do about loyalty programs, there's a really, really big part of your overall career discipline that you're missing out on. And here's the chance to get up to speed very quickly by buying the book on Amazon or the leading bookstores.
Definitely. And there's going to be a link in the description of the podcast. So yeah, everyone, it's really worth clicking. And I highly recommend everyone reading the Loyalty Programs, The Complete Guide. Thank you so much, Philip, for joining us today.
Thank you, Irek. Have a great day.
Cool. Now you know why it's a good idea to purchase your copy of the second edition of Loyalty Programs, The Complete Guide. In my opinion, it's one of the best marketing books out there. Now, let's wrap up with a few action steps. First, if you liked this episode, help us grow by leaving a positive review of the podcast. Second, let us know what you think by interacting with the Q&A feature or simply send us an email at podcast@openloyalty.io. Third, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter for more valuable content related to the podcast. Have a great day, everyone. The Loyalty Program Builders podcast is brought to you by the team at Open Loyalty, the world's most flexible loyalty software for creating personalized loyalty and gamification programs fast and at scale.